These are them Romano. Now as you can see, there doesn't seem to be any sign of life. Okay, these potatoes haven't started to chit yet, and whilst that's not too big a worry, I'm sure they're probably all viable. What I intend to do is try a little experiment and try and make these potatoes chit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roughly divide them in half, keep half of them just as they are, and the other half I'm going to sow them temporarily in some compost, so that instead of them being in the light and the warmth and being dry, they'll be in the dark, they'll be damp, but they'll still be in the warmth. And we'll see if that encourages these potatoes to chit up more than the sample that are left behind. We'll try that little experiment, and what I will do is stay with this video because the result of that experiment will be on this video. I'll just be switching the camera off and then recording again in 2 or 3 weeks time, and we'll record the results of this little experiment. Okay, so I'll just show you what I'm going to do now. This is some coca-cola, to all intents and purposes compost. Okay, it's still a bit damp because I only reconstituted this with water maybe a fortnight ago, and it's still holding that dampness. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put those sets, cover them up with this coir in a pot and let them stand for 2 or 3 weeks, and then we'll see what they look like when they come out. So we'll just take this pot out of this pot. So now we have an empty pot. Okay, we'll drop a couple of inches of coir into that so the potatoes aren't sitting on the bottom. And we're going to sit these potatoes in this pot now on that coir. Okay. I'll just turn this up so that you can maybe see what it is I'm trying to do here. They're the potatoes in the bottom. Now we're just going to go layer upon layer upon layer, so that when we top this off there should be about half a dozen sets in there. Okay, we can get another one in low down. Right, we'll cover those over with coir. So these are now going to be in the dark, and they're going to be in a damp environment. But remember, we're not actually sowing these potatoes now. They're just going to be in here for a couple of weeks, hopefully. I'll shake it in. So those are buried up now. Put another 3 in there. Okay, so that's half a dozen sets in there. I want to cover these up, and that's the experiment on its way. Oops, wow. Give this a shake. See, we've shook it in. So that's 6 Romano going to stand in that for 2 or 3 weeks, and these Romano that are left on this tray, we'll leave those as our comparators. So we'll compare these with what's in the pot in 2 or 3 weeks time, and we'll see what the result is. these are the Romano that we set aside. These are the potatoes that were bought at the local farm. As you can see, they've now started to chit up. So in some respects it's panic over. I was a wee bit worried that these guys perhaps weren't going to chit, but as you can see, starting to throw chits up, so we're okay with that. So I'm not too sure what value we'll get out of the experiment I've been conducting, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the pot that I sowed the other Romano potatoes in, albeit temporarily. We'll put them in here and we'll see if there's any difference. We'll see if Romano has responded better to dark, damp, warm conditions than it had to light, warm conditions. Okay, I'll need to move this off the table for a minute and bring this pot into the shot. Okay, this is the pot. One thing I did do after switching the video off when I recorded the first part of the video was I realised that if these Romano potatoes did produce sprouts, produce chits, then I might just break them off as I tried to get them out of this pot. So what I did do almost immediately I'd switched the video off was empty the contents out. Remember, the potatoes had no chits on at the time, and then I filled the pot exactly as I did first time round, except I lined it with a shopping bag. I think this should make life easier when I take these potatoes out. So, and the biggest danger I've got here, apart from breaking any chits off or sprouts, is that I spill this coy all over the place. So if we can tease this out like this and get rid of this pot. Okay, and just let this bag fall down nice and easily without spilling its contents, and we'll see if we can find those Romano potatoes that we put in here, and there are 6 of them. Okay, so we'll just have a gentle fish about. Here's one. Oh ho! Wow! Even Molly's excited. Wow, look at that. Look at those chits. I'll just put this in the tray with the other Romanos and I'll fish the other 5 out. Yeah. It looks like Romano is ready to go. It likes it in the dark and the warm and the damp. Whether I'll do this again or not, I'm not too sure. But these potatoes have certainly chitted a lot better than they have just standing in the tray. Okay. It's 4 out, 2 to go. I'm quite pleased that I haven't spilled this stuff all over the place. This is the last one to go. Be in here somewhere. There it is. Okay, so I'll just lift these potatoes back onto the table and then we'll call it a day. Okay, so these are the Romano. These are the ones that stayed in the warm and the light. These are the ones in the damp, in the dark and the warm. Okay, there's every danger I'm going to start and repeat myself now. I know I've already done that. So we'll wind this little experiment up